Welcome to a special episode of CaseCold, where we are sharing with you guys some interesting, probing murders that happen in and or around Christmas time. So join us in this episode to hear about 4 different murders that happened over the years during Christmas. All right, so welcome back, everyone. We are in the countdown to Christmas. We have, 12 more days until Christmas Day. So make sure you're getting all your little knickknacks and stocking stuffers and your presents that you desire to get all of your loved ones and your friends and your significant others and your non-significant others and anybody else you're getting gifts for,
And pets.
And pets. Oh, yeah, fur babies, gotta have pets or gifts for them. I guess you don't have to. But they would enjoy treats, food.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we are unfortunately wrapping up this Christmas season. It just seemed like what we buy.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you start in November, it's pretty much. It's been 2 months.
Yeah, and life has really been lifing, so it's just
Well, when you
I'll tell you that about adulthood. Like everything just runs together.
Yeah.
It was just January.
Yeah, but you know what? When you work during the holiday season every day, pretty much,
True,
it does make it go by a lot quicker, I think, because you're kind of consumed with just keeping up with day-to-day life. And on top of that, it's the holidays.
That's so true. Because before you would at least be out on holiday break or whatever, so you had nothing to do.
Mm-hmm. It was like a big break.
Okay, yeah.
But now it's not so much a break, it's just continuation and then slap on
And
whatever.
it's so monotonous. It just keeps going day by day. It's the same thing.
Exactly. I think the fun, honestly, I now I sort of celebrate New Year's a little bit more than I used to as a kid. Or at least I understand the celebration of New Year's a little bit more. Yeah. But I mean, my plans is to work. Got a couple of volleyball things coming up. But other than that, I mean, what else does adults do during the holiday season? Get drunk with their family?
Yes, so.
Pretty much. Buy yourself a present.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Self-love is the best love.
Exactly. But then when you have bills and stuff coming up, it's limit the present for yourself. So.
I guess. No gifts? I mean, a gift is better than no gifts.
That's true. But I treat myself all year long.
And on Christmas Day.
Day. I might wrap a present for myself.
See, exactly. That's the spirit I'm talking about. Honestly, I'm not even gonna wrap it. I'm just gonna put everything I bought under the Christmas tree and act so surprised on Christmas Day. Not even gonna wrap it or anything. You shouldn't have.
Right?
You shouldn't have. Wow, you really went all out this year, girl.
Do you exchange gifts with Ricky? No. Oh, that's right.
No, but we are going to go to this little event. Not event. It's an experience thing. It's an art thing.
Are you getting something for the pets, at least? Yeah,
the pets. Ocean and Oz got bedding and a bunch of treats. And Lloyd he had a laser. We had to take it back because it didn't work after a day.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted a laser. And then Mavis got a cat post. And she got a little scratch post replacement thing. She had one already, but it was all bent up and stuff from her using it and scratching it or whatever. So I replaced it with the little insert that you can replace. Mm-hmm. And then I gave Ocean a scratch post too because he likes them. And then
a cat scratch post?
Yeah. It's just cardboard, so. But Ocean likes to scratch them and bite them, so he got one. And then they have me,
Ozzy got the house a while ago.
Yeah. Oz got a house, and he loves his house. And it's really for both of the boys, but Ozzy, they both actually use it. Honestly, Ocean likes to sit in it, and loaf, and then Ozzy likes to just go in and out of it. So. And then I think that's pretty much, they get hay and stuff. I got to go buy them some hay. But other than that, just things they really need. Nothing they like. I mean, they can't communicate what they want anyway besides treats. So, Lloyd got some treats and Mavis.
Gotcha. Mavis got that catnip.
Oh, your girl be high. Okay. Somebody roll the catnip. Because Mavis is going to get higher than a you know what.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. So yeah, Mavis actually did get some catnip with her scratch post. So she was very excited. And she got a catnip, like a little compacted like ball thing that she licks. So
It looked like Santa was good to the pets.
yeah, well, it's the only thing Santa's buying for this year. So Santa's been good to me too, though, because I have gotten myself quite a bit of things.
Well, that's good. I haven't got myself anything like specifically that I wouldn't. That's not just like maintenance. Keep up with myself since my birthday. No, I'm lying.
I definitely have gotten me. I've been running out this season from November to December.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't bought anything since like specifically for the holiday season. Now I did get something on Black Friday, but that was the last time I bought myself something that was like like household, or like I'll purchase like refillers for makeup, but I don't consider that really new items.
Guys, I did get me some makeup, which I'm excited to. I'm gonna like try to like on the weekends when I'm like doing things, which I don't really do much, but try to like wear a little bit more makeup and stuff like that because I think it's cute. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. So
it's fun. It does take a little time when you start doing more intricate eye looks and stuff. I will say you'll be sitting in the mirror for like an hour and a half just doing that.
I don't know if I would go for intricate. I like the simple, like natural look anyway. So like that would probably be more of my speed anyway. But I do want to like do it a little bit more. So
yeah, I think it's actually a useful skill. I'm not gonna lie, because you really never know when, if you have like a photo shoot or something randomly comes up in your life, it's really good to be able to like put something together for yourself and not be totally clueless on like, how do I glue on lashes, or like, how do I make this look work for me? So you don't have to do as much as I do, but I do think it's useful to have.
Facts, I feel that. Yeah, what else did I get? I got myself some like skincare stuff because I really wasn't into skincare before, but now I'm kind of into it, so I'm here for it. And then I got, what else did I get? Oh, I got me some Fenty stuff, and then that was it, really. So that's all I got for myself for Christmas. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, we digress.
Yeah, sorry.
We're gonna go ahead and get into these murders. But in the comments, tell us what you get yourself for Christmas, because we are totally here for people treating themselves for Christmas.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let us know what you got for yourself for Christmas. So we're gonna start out our first murder with the Sonder family murder.
Sodder, not Sonder.
Sodder, yeah, excuse me, Sodder. Sodder family.
Yes.
And this murder took place in Fayetteville, West Virginia, on Christmas Eve in 1945. So that was a while ago. The freaking newspaper clippings are ancient. No offense.
It was what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children?
Yeah, 5 children were never seen again, but they had 10 children.
Dang. That's wild.
That's a lot of kids. Yeah. But I guess back then it was like normal.
Yeah, I guess 1945.
Yeah.
But did they ever arrest the parents? Were the parents convicted?
No. So let's see what happened. Basically, a fire happened in this house, and the parents, George and Jenny, went to sleep on Christmas Eve, and 9 of their 10 children obviously were in the house. Well, not obviously, but 9 of them were in the house out of the 10 children, and then 1 was away in the military. And then Jenny wakes up and she hears a noise and someone has thrown something on the roof. She goes to see what is going on, and then she goes back to bed. She doesn't think anything of it. Then she wakes up a little bit later and she smells smoke. She realizes that some of the rooms in the house are on fire. And then she starts screaming to wake up her husband and stuff like that and her children. So then the fire department comes out. Now, by this time, it's Christmas. But the children were trapped inside.
But the mom was able to get out 5 of their children, right?
No. The kids were stuck inside.
All of the kids?
No, only 5 of them passed away, I believe. But here's what I don't understand. The firefighters were told the children were stuck inside. So, interesting. I would think that the firefighters... I guess not.
And never found the body?
Yeah, and then on top of that, I guess because they were told that the children were stuck inside or trapped inside, the fire truck was then sent 7 hours later. I don't know.
So, I guess that is weird. Because, well, I mean, this thing, 1945, I don't know if you've ever been through West Virginia, but West Virginia is very mountainous. It's like...
Yeah, and it's very you have little off path things. It's hard to reach things.
Hard, yeah, I can see that. I could very well see that. I will say where I'm living now has some mountain ranges, but I think they have created as much as possible easy access points where a fire truck could get through if absolutely need be. But I mean, my recollection of driving through West Virginia is some of those places, it seemed very difficult for any, it was this one way in, one way out sort of thing, and dirt roads and stuff. So I could see a fire truck really trying to get up there with the resources to stop a fire being probably quite difficult. I could see, I could see, especially Christmas night, and then God knows how far away the actual fire department might be.
Exactly. So, yeah, I agree with that. According to a retired fire chief that was working in, I don't think he was on this specific murder, but he's just a retired fire chief in general around this time. He went on to kind of explain why there was such a delay. And he was saying that the fire department, they didn't have sirens back then. So that was part of the issue. So to I guess alert everybody and get everybody to stop and clear away kind of thing, which I mean, it was Christmas Eve. So, okay. But, and then he had to then call each individual firefighter's home one by one to get in touch with them. Cause I guess they were on light duty that night since it was the holidays. So, 7 hours though, wow.
Yeah. I mean, but I also think phones might not have been, I mean, we pick up our phone and just call somebody now. There's a good chance somebody has a cell phone up there now. But 1945, everything was a landline and well, and then depending on what your financial situation was, if you could have even had a landline in your home.
Yeah, true.
And then, reaching the fire department at that time.
Yeah. I mean, I think logistically things were very different then. So, okay. It is very skeptical to see 7 hours on this report. So, okay. Anywho, the parents.
Okay, I found something interesting. Apparently, 2 other people, strangers, had come and told him that his house was going to go up in flames, essentially. A few months earlier.
Did not know that. Okay. So also at the end of this situation that happened, unfortunate situation that happened, the parents were able to escape along with 4 of their children. So in total, 5 of the children passed away, ranging in ages 5 through 14. And we'll name the victims once we get through the articles and the events. So apparently this case is surrounded by a lot of misinformation. And rumors. Which I guess back then all they had was maybe word of mouth.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't think they ever found the bodies or anything, did they?
I'm reading up, but apparently they said they really couldn't understand how there could 5 children could have perished, but no bones, no flesh, no nothing was left.
Exactly. They said they did like a search or whatever, but they just discovered a few jawbones and pieces of internal organs. They never really found like a whole body like you would find in a fire, if the person was there. They only found a few bones and pieces of internal organs.
So there's so much surrounding this. It's like people are saying there was somebody watching the children, watching the house before, which was weird. And then there's people saying there's sightings of things. And then the fact that there's no body shown up.
And then the fire marshal, they postponed the search because it was Christmas, to like fully do like an in-depth search or whatever. And the family was told to like leave the site as it is, but the family actually came back and was messing with the scene. The dad, this is weird. The dad, he comes back and he just bulldozes dirt over the home.
That's weird. Something about this says the parents are giving me too much like suspicious behavior, to be perfectly honest.
Exactly. Yeah. So the family then planted like a little shrine, I guess, over the house.
Apparently a woman was claimed to see the missing children peering from a passing car while the fire was still going on. Saying she saw the children the morning after the fire, served them breakfast. There was a car with a Florida license plate on. It was apparently a woman working at a tourist stop.
Interesting.
And then apparently a woman at a Charleston hotel saw the children's photos in a newspaper and said she had seen 4 or 5 a week after the fire. So what if the parents staged it?
Maybe. I don't know. It says that George Sauter, he saw a newspaper or photo of children in New York, and was convinced that one of them was his missing daughter, Betty. So, but here's the thing. Then how would you not know where your kids are? Like, so you're saying like during the fire, they ran out and they got in a car.
Maybe they staged it.
Or then how do you account for the bones that were found and the internal organs that were found?
Maybe they were they children's bones? They were certain they were children's bones.
I don't know if they were. No, I'm not sure if they were children or not.
Because what if, the remains of a chicken or a cow or a goat shriveled up might look like the remains of a human.
But it wouldn't.
Apparently they sent a letter to the FBI in 1947, and the FBI was like, this seems to be a local matter and does not come within our jurisdiction.
That's funny.
To J.
That's
Edgar
interesting. That explains it.
Right.
And it seems like they also tried to hire a private investigator, but that didn't really like nothing really turned out from that. So, to me, it just seems like the parents did it, like it's giving the parents either staged something is up, or the parents killed their children.
That, or, okay, this is interesting and might be a conflict of interest. Turns out the private investigator, right, who discovered the insurance salesman who originally told George, who had threatened George about the house, right, originally, was also a member of the coroner's jury that deemed the fire accidental.
The FBI agent?
The private investigator that Sodders, I guess, hired. Was also a member of the coroner's jury that deemed it an accidental fire.
But before or after he was the PI?
After.
That's weird.
Oh wait, sorry, the insurance salesman, not the PI. The insurance salesman who had come and talked to George earlier. That's what I said. That's weird. The insurance sales guy was also the coroner's jury that said the fire was accidental, which would assist George essentially if he is doing some sort of insurance fraud.
Yeah. It also says too that there's a rumor that the family sold the children to an orphanage and suggested the mafia has somehow been involved in that. So,
This is wild. This story keeps getting weirder and weirder.
right? Like, were people this weird back then?
I believe it. I mean, were people that different from 1947 to now? They just had less technology.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, to be honest, insurance fraud has been going on since insurance existed. I could see if they were trying to get insurance for the home and they were like, we're just going to pack up and leave and our family's just going to go or whatever. And they were like, you know, at the time, the quickest way to get money, insurance fraud, pretending to be dead might have been an option.
Yeah.
Sort of extreme. But like, then you get enough money for the heads of 5 kids, essentially.
Interesting. It says that the dad, he continued to travel the country because there was like international sightings, I guess, of people, of the kids, excuse me. He continued to travel the country, tracking down rumors of his missing kids. He then died in 1969, his wife 20 years later. And then they had a billboard that was posted looking for the children or sharing the information about the missing kids. That later came down once the wife had died. But they have a daughter, the youngest daughter, who survived. Her name's Sylvia. Her parents told her to keep the story alive. So, interesting.
It is deeply suspicious. I will say that because it's like it's just too much gossip, and like, especially the seeing people claiming to have seen them.
Yeah.
A week after or whatever the fuck.
Right.
Apparently, the oldest child doesn't believe her siblings perished in the fire.
That's details.
The very end of this article is saying Sylvia, who is now 69, doesn't believe her siblings perished. When time permits, she visits crime sleuthing websites and engages with people still interested in her family's mystery. Her very first memories are of that night in 1945 when she was 2. She will never forget the sight of her father bleeding or the terrible symphony of everyone's screams, and she's is no closer now to understanding why.
That's interesting because this child, the youngest one, believes that, the youngest one to survive, she believes that they're still out there, I guess, because her parents told her that. So that's interesting.
That's so weird. Apparently, they were Italian American, they had immigrated to, I guess, Appalachia from.
So they already had ties over there.
Yeah, like the dad had immigrated in the 1920s, I think. And
well, then it could have been a mafia thing. But you know, I've like watched quite a bit of documentaries on like the mafia and stuff, and they always say like, don't mess with kids. Like, you know what I mean? You only mess with the people. You only mess with, which I guess it depends on which time of the mafia you're talking about, and like American New York mafia or like Italian mafia. I don't know much about like Italian mafia. I just know about like what was happening in like New York kind of thing. But they're very adamant about like, don't mess with kids. You only mess with who the problem is.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, it wouldn't make it for this time. I mean, I don't know how it worked at this time, but it wouldn't make sense if that was the case.
I wonder if you don't think it was a hate crime.
I really feel like it's the parents.
I feel
like what else could it be? I don't know. I don't think they died in a fire, but something had to be going on fishy with the parents.
I agree. Well, and I think the response time is sketchy, so it's like really hard to kind of.
And the investigation was sketchy.
Yeah, and the investigation was like tied back to the interests of the parents.
Yeah. They didn't even get to do an investigation. Like, you can't postpone an investigation. That's like, you have to do it right then and there. That's like when you get the most evidence. Because if not, you have time to like clean up things. Things are going to be moved and disheveled and moved around. And like, I mean, that wasn't genius.
It's giving me the dad was like out of the bed during that night when the mom she checked on the kids, I guess. And was like.
Probably pouring gas around or something.
Apparently, she said she heard a thud on the roof, right? And then the dad later was like, it was a napalm pineapple bomb, like the type you use in warfare. And like that basically
But then y'all would have blown up for real. Like right then and there, she wouldn't have been able to go back to bed if it was that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So the children that lost their lives this unfortunate night were Betty Saunders. She was 5. She was the youngest child to disappear that night.
Supposedly
Jenny
lost their lives.
Supposedly, yes. We don't know if they're still. This case has never been solved. So,
and if they were children in 1945, they could theoretically be alive.
Older.
They're older, but they couldn't be alive.
We have Jenny Saunders. She was 8. We have Louis Saunders. He was 9, and his birthday was in 5 days from Christmas, so December 30th. We have Martha Lee Saunders. She was 12, and Maurice Sauder was 14. So that's so sad. Like your own parents like set you up. I want to take a vote for the parents did it. I don't know what their involvement is, but they're definitely doing something fishy.
Yeah, I agree. I think all signs, in my opinion, point towards the parents at the moment.
And her dad specifically. It's giving me the dad is very suspicious. I don't know if mom is quite as involved. She seemed like she's a little bit more innocent in it. But
I also think she's probably complicit, not gonna lie.
I mean, I think she definitely could be complicit, but I also think too that like back in this day, like men were like the people who did handle all these things.
Yeah.
And participated in like suspicious affairs. And yeah, exactly. Mom was just at home taking care of the kids. So it wouldn't surprise me during this time that dad made some weird deal or tried to kill the kids or killed them like one off them at a time kind of thing. And then was like, oh, we're going to have a fire. Like, it's giving weird. But you know what? The noise that she could have heard was like him killing the kids.
Yeah. But then that brings into question the insurance guy.
I wonder if they collected any money.
That's what I want to know. I feel like that would have been in 1945. That would have been easy out to collect insurance fraud.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now there's a million and one damn questions or whatever.
For sure.
But like house going up in smoke, they made it look plausible that somebody just came and smoked out their house essentially. They could have the fire department corroborate it because the fire department wasn't able to access them.
It says that the motive could have been retaliation for George Saunders' statement against fascist Italy.
That's what I said too. Or it could be a hate crime.
Yeah, it could be.
Like, because he was speaking out against Mussolini, who would have been dictator at the time in Italy.
Yeah.
So either
the fascist regime is a little different.
Yeah, other Italians in the community could have been like, don't speak about Mussolini.
Yeah.
Or it could have been, I mean, think about the heart of the South at the time. Anybody who's not Protestant, like Anglo-Saxon, which at the time, people don't realize Italians were also deeply discriminated against early parts of this nation. Like during heavy immigration times, Italian people were seen next to Black Americans and like Jewish people. So especially in the heart of like Appalachia, you know what I mean? So we don't know what that could have meant.
Yeah, I guess.
My thoughts are dad and fraud or hate crime.
Yeah, I'm leaning more toward dad though.
Yeah, me too.
even if it was a hate crime, it was probably as a result of dad. So
I think if it was a hate crime, they would have found the bodies. So that's what I worry about.
I don't think so, because back then it would have been easy to get away with things.
Well, I'm saying if it would have been a true hate crime, the dad uninvolved, then the bodies would have shown up.
Not necessarily though, because like back then it was probably easier to get away with hiding a body. Like now they're able to find bodies because of like tracking devices, location things that help you like pinpoint locations and like towers to see the vicinity and whatnot. Those are ways that people are quickly found, right? like your last known location type of things.
And probably
then
phones,
they didn't have that.
Honestly.
Yeah, phones are a huge one. Phones, your watches, your Fitbit, like those things track your daily life. So even like your car, like a lot of times is tracked.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I guess murder was easier to get away with than pre iPhone.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm going with Dad mostly. And Mom wasn't on it.
Yeah, I think Mom was slightly complicit, unfortunately.
And the motive, insurance fraud.
Yes, or he's trying to pay a debt.
Yes.
All right. So that was the Sauter family murder, or I guess the missing Sauter children, you can call it, because we don't know if they were murdered or not, unfortunately. So, but those individuals' children have not been found to this day. That's so unfortunate.
It is.
All right. So our next crime case that we're talking about is called the Carnation Massacre. And this one involves a lady named Michelle Kristen Anderson. So this one's also pretty sad too. It's giving mental health.
This happened in Seattle, Washington.
In King County, Washington, specifically. Well, it's called Carnation. Carnation is like the city, I guess, and then the county's King. Anyways, so this happened on December 24th in 2007. And this individual ended up killing her parents, who were 60 and 61, Wayne and Judith, her brother, Scott, his wife, Erica, who were both 22, and the couple's two children, Olivia and Nathan, who were 5 and 3. And they killed them by shooting them with a gun. So what had happened was, I guess she, let's see. It was, I guess she, like, her brother owed her some money. And so it was, I guess you could say, like a financial dispute or whatever. But her brother owed her like $40,000 or whatever. And her parents were like siding with the brother. And I guess not paying her back. So Michelle back, the brother Scott, not paying Michelle back. And so she decided to kill them.
She was convicted.
Yeah, she's convicted. She's in jail. So she killed him alongside her boyfriend too. His name's Joseph. And so yeah, it's like I don't know how we got to killing them, but you know, yeah. So
didn't she have a partner? She had a partner, right?
Yeah, her boyfriend Joseph. He was alongside of her in the killings. But there, other than, I don't really think he had a motive other than like just being there for her. But the main motive is that he owed her money. Oh, maybe it was his handgun then.
The family, so the brother owed the sister money,
$40,000 or some sort of large sum of money, and the parents agreed with the son Scott that I guess he shouldn't pay her back. And so that's why she killed the parents and him and his family.
What did she lend him money for? Did that ever come out in court?
I haven't seen anything about like what she gave him the money for.
Confessions.
Oh, did she?
Apparently, it says around 3 hours after the police arrived, Anderson and McEnroe, which is the two shooters,
the boyfriend,
put up to Wayne and Judy's house. They did not seem fazed by police cars surrounding the property, nor did they ask if Wayne and Judy were okay, which raised officer suspicion right away. Authorities began questioning them. Anderson told them that they had been on their way to Vegas to get married, but when they got lost, they turned around and came home. Anderson told the detectives that the last time she had seen her parents was Christmas Eve before heading to Las Vegas.
the day of the murder.
Yeah.
Suspicious.
And then when a detective asked Anderson why she thought the authorities were at her house, she broke down. She said, "It's not Joe's fault. It's all my fault." Anderson exclaimed, "As soon as I shot the gun, I felt so bad. Like, what the hell have I done? I'm a monster."
Mm-hmm. It says that she
And she
also
confessed.
confessed in a 2008 confession. And she said she wanted to be executed. So
Is she going to be
they have
executed?
pictures of her. I don't know if they sentenced her to that. Let's see. I don't know if she stood trial yet. It says she had an issue with like mental health, and they were trying to figure out she was competent. Oh, she was found competent. Okay.
They said money was at the heart of the crime. She stayed at on her parents' property in a mobile home and hadn't paid them rent for a year. And so she said she was quote, tired of everybody stepping on her, claiming that her brother Scott owed her $40,000 and wouldn't pay her back. And her parents were trying to get her to pay rent for living on their property.
So there's more to the story than what she has said.
So she was like, this was like,
she was already given psychopath.
She's got like a vendetta against her parents for like trying to hold her accountable, essentially.
Yeah. Okay. So there was more to the story. So while, her brother may have or may have not owed her $40,000, she was really mad because somebody was trying to make her accountable and responsible.
That's what I always tell people. The idea of having a gun is never really this like safety thing you think it is, because more often than not, it's used in domestic violence situations.
Yeah, and it's giving you this false sense of power of like, if something goes wrong, I could just, use this kind of thing. And it's like, figure out your issue, fix your issue, not kill somebody.
A lot of people don't.
Like, that is not the solution.
The kind of people who will be the first ones in line to get a gun is the kind of people who don't be figuring out their issues.
I mean, I'm not here to say who is and who isn't, but it is red. It raised some red flags.
Think about everybody you know who is a proud gun owner.
Chabu. Question mark.
It's never people who have healed. It's never people who are like walking, living their best life. It's never that person.
Mm-hmm.
It rarely ever is that person. I think guns themselves represent this level of like anxiousness and violence that only somebody who really is not comfortable with themselves and comfortable with their own ability to protect themselves is looking for. It's like external validation of protection.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know anybody who I know is a gun owner who I trust fully as a gun owner, who I think is just totally, completely not capable of being unhinged.
Facts. And what I don't understand is the boyfriend. Like, why were you complicit in this?
Exactly.
Just for fun? Like, were you interested in just killing somebody? They have some quotes on here from the confession or whatever. Ugh, this is disgusting. Saying that the guy, Joseph, who assisted in killing the family members, allowed Erica, so the Scott's wife, to huddle with her children before he shot her in the head. He even goes on to say he apologized to Erica because she was pleading with him not to kill her, and he said, "Yes, we have to do this."
What if Joseph?
Dude, come on.
I get the feeling
Joseph may have been the mastermind.
You think so?
Yeah, he even shot the 5-year-old in the head. Like, ugh. And then, well, he pretty much did most of the killing. He killed Erica and the kids. I think, let's see, who did Michelle? Who did she end up confessing to?
Why do I get the feeling that Joseph is a mentally disturbed person?
Agreed. Yeah. No, like, he's probably where he needs to be.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of his like quotes and stuff, and like,
and
I just get the feeling that he's not mentally well, which would, in the case of that's the perfect combination. She's angry, and she apparently has a mental issue, probably.
Yeah, probably.
And then he's like sidekick going along with it.
Mm-hmm. Ugh, so weird.
But they didn't vote for him to have the death penalty. That I don't understand. They admitted to the trial. They had the smoking gun. They have another perpetrator saying that this person participated in it, and they didn't give him the death penalty.
Yeah. Neither one of them, or
they didn't give the man in Washington State. All 12 jurors have to be in favor in the case of for death penalty. However, 8 ruled in favor of sentencing him to death. 4 did not.
Interesting.
Why do I feel like this is privilege?
Probably. And they're in Washington State, so.
Yeah. Well, Washington State is more liberal.
It says that the 911 received a call from that home at 5:15 p.m. on a Monday. And the dispatcher just heard a bunch of like yelling in the background. And he said it sounded more like party noise and like arguing maybe. And so the call was obviously disconnected. And then they placed 2 calls back to the home. And then deputies were sent out. So they were sent out around 5:19. They didn't get there until about 5:45. And then this is weird. There was a lock on the gate, so they didn't go any further on the property.
The police?
Yeah, they were unable to gain access.
I don't know. I hate to say this about police officers, and I know these situations are very case by case, so you can't like get it right or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But why do I always feel like there's always, when it comes to these like investigations, the police are always like one step in the wrong too.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
A lot of times in a lot of these crimes.
It's like it's always,
which I feel like
police couldn't do this or this couldn't happen because this, and I'm like, why is it always the police are possible part of the problem? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah,
because they're also the first person you're supposed
it's
to call.
very often. And it's like, how am I supposed to trust that you're going to be here when I need you?
Exactly. It's like, it feels like there really is no system of like law and order that you can depend on because it's so fluctuating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. It's always like you said it. They're always in like the wrong direction. Even with, I don't know if anybody's watched it, but like the Jeffrey Dahmer thing. Like, how did this happen? How did that happen?
Exactly.
I don't get it.
And there's so many. When you really go back and look at really famous murder trials and all of that, you see that there's always the issue of like, well, what was the police response time? Did the police really do a thorough investigation? And usually it'd be like somebody, a like third witness to the side who halfway saw something is the real reason they cracked the damn case. Not because a police officer found something. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know. It's always weird to me that the police are like, I'm not calling them accessories to the crime, but it's like in some ways they prevent the investigation from really being as efficient as it could be to really solve the issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, it came up with the Sauter family, like we talked about. It's coming up in his Carnation murders. So it's like a decades-long issue.
Yeah. Which even like in some of the other murders, well, specifically another murder we're going to talk about, same thing kind of happens in that one too. So
exactly.
Yeah. So Joseph McEnroe, he was found guilty of 6 counts of aggravated first-degree murder, and he was sentenced to life in prison. And then Michelle, her middle name is Kristen. She was found guilty of 6 counts of aggravated murder as well, and she was sentenced to life without parole. So they both got the same sentence. Death penalty was taken off the table due to some like logistic reasons, I want to say. The governor at the time that came in during her sentencing basically took away the option for death penalty. So maybe that's why.
I always forget death penalties are always like very governmental, whoever's in power kind of thing. It's not this like set in stone sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it depends on the state. So there's also that.
I think we did an episode about death penalties earlier this year, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Make sure to watch that video. It's a good one.
Yeah. And I remember, I think we were talking about it in reference to Dylan Roof.
Yeah, and there's another person too who was going up for it as well in South Carolina specifically. And I wonder, I have to research it and see whatever happened with that, because they put a pause on everything due to there was like an issue with like supplies or something like that.
Wasn't it? Oh,
it was during the pandemic, but remember there was like a supply issue of like you had to choose how you wanted to be killed, I guess.
Executed,
and one of the new options was the firing squad. So one of the inmates filed, I guess, a lawsuit or whatever, saying that he didn't choose a way to be killed, so you can't kill him, kind of thing. And they put up
that's what you were talking about.
A pending case. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I remember, because I was like, I think firing squad is inhumane.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Go watch that one. It was earlier this year, but very good conversation.
I don't think we had been doing CaseCold yet, but maybe we were. But anyway. Well, I'm glad justice was served for the Carnation family. It's not quite an open case, but it is bizarre and happens around Christmas.
Yeah. I think this one just happened to be around Christmas because this is when, shit hit the fan kind of thing. But
it's also giving like, this is what happens with like unhinged family members and like people who are unhealed and vendettas and all that crap. Because I'm sure there was probably some sort of red flag before about their daughter's character.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they probably were already concerned with like them having to have the conversation of like being responsible and accountable. So it seemed like that kind of like evaded her anyway. This just happened to catch up with her. So
sometimes cutting off family members is life or death. Sometimes we think it's just like a protect my peace thing, but sometimes maybe it is life or death. You don't know how unhinged somebody is, even if they're your child.
Yeah. Very true.
So I'm not mad at that. Unfortunately for them, they didn't cut off in enough time.
Yeah. Which I don't know. They would. They're just trying to hold her accountable. As simple as that. And it was taken to the extreme. So could you imagine if they like kicked her out?
That's true. I mean, I guess if your child's on a murder spree, they're on a murder spree. That's what I always say.
It just seemed like there may have been some mental health things going on as well. So
yeah. I always say this, and I mean, obviously, I hope I'm never a victim to a crime like this, but like, if somebody has an intent to kill, they got an intent to kill. It doesn't matter what weapon you think you can possess or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I guess there's preventative methods, but like, if somebody is really intent on harming,
All right. So yeah, that is the Carnation murders. Next, we're going to talk about a pretty
famous
one. Yeah, that's a good word. That happened in 1996. So her name is JonBenet Ramsey. I'm sure everybody under the sun has heard of her.
JonBenet Ramsey.
Yeah. So she was she was like a model?
No, she was a beauty. She was in beauty
pageants.
Like a 6-year-old.
Yeah,
she was like 6. A little itty bitty.
And this one took place on December 26th, so the day after Christmas, in the wee early mornings in 1996. So this was also in Boulder, Colorado, where the parents, Patsy and John, they awoken to go on a trip and discovered there was a ransom note on their stairs for $118,000 for their daughter's return. So this one gives me all types of like red flags.
I know.
This one is interesting. So
I want to know, did the parents go to sleep knowing that, did they tuck in JonBenet the night before? That's what I want to know. Like, has it been founded that mom absolutely tucked in that child and knew where that, because like a 6-year-old, a 6-year-old child, you're still making sure they're getting to bed and getting into bed safely, typically around that age, right? Maybe as they get to be like 10, 11, you like, okay, I'm going upstairs, going to sleep. You figure it out yourself kind of thing. But 5, 6, you're like, come on, you gotta go to sleep. It's Christmas night, but you gotta, you know what I mean? Like, usually you have sights on your child before they are in the bed. So
Yeah.
what would really solve, well, not solve, but would clear up some stuff for me is, did mom and dad ever say, I absolutely 100% tucked this child into bed and knew she was alive?
Well,
Because
let
that
me read
seems to
more of
be
this
unsolved.
because let me read more of this, and this can maybe help answer. So, the note went on to say, "Don't involve the police." So the mother called them anyway, along with some friends and family, in order to help search for John Bonet. So the police were then called at 5:55 that morning, where they found no signs of forced entry. However, the family did not search the basement. Or I guess the police officers didn't search the basements where her body would ultimately be found. So she was in the basement pretty much the whole
Where
time.
the police
Didn't
deliberately did not look, or like,
I don't know deliberately, but
why would you
there
as a
was no
police
sign of
officer
forced
not?
entry.
As a police officer, I'm sorry. There's no way you're gonna like. You're not gonna. I'm gonna search every inch of the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because why did you not look in the basement?
Mm-hmm.
That seems obvious.
Yeah. So also some other things that went wrong. Her room was apparently cornered off, so friends and family kind of like roamed the rest of the house while they were doing their investigation. And so that pretty much tampered the house.
What
You
do you mean
can't, I
cornered
mean, the
off?
evidence was being, so they like cornered off her room to search it for evidence. The police team, everything else was open to friends and family
Why is
to
it? I'm telling you,
essentially
it's the police always somehow are
fumble,
involved, and
always
like
fumble.
they're always somehow. What is standard procedure for an investigation? Is there no standard
Mm-hmm.
procedure? Do they just go and be like, okay, we're investigating now, do what you want?
I guess so. I mean,
Because
this happened in 1996, which wouldn't imagine is too far off technology wise. And like,
I
I
mean, it
guess that is
shouldn't
some
be.
years now.
I would
That's like
imagine
20
they,
years now. So maybe it is, but
well, 26 years now.
yeah.
But this is what I'm wondering. Okay. So they might not have had, they obviously didn't have smartphones back then. Okay. So that takes out some technology. But what I want to know is this. Is standard investigative procedure that different from 1996 till now? I would imagine they're using the same textbooks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I would think so, but
The only thing I would assume that they would be doing different is things might be more mechanized now, where like, okay, we put in the details of this on an iPad versus whatever, but like standard kind of, this is what you do opening for the investigation. This is what you do, blah, blah, blah. Like that
like
seems
shutting
to
down the
me,
crime scene. That would be
yeah, that
obvious, I
seems
think.
to be like even stuff they were doing in the 1920s type stuff. Like, don't come here because we got to collect as much evidence as possible. It's like, why are the police always implied? That's what I don't understand.
I don't know.
About all these cases. The police are always implied. Or the first responders.
It even says that the police department also went on to share evidence with the family and then delayed their informal interviews with the parents. So not only were they didn't interview the parents or they didn't even do informal interviews with the parents, really. They also were giving them evidence. So, if they are the suspect, then they know what to say and not to say. They know what you know, which gives them the upper hand. So, not good.
All I can think is, okay, if they know they checked, apparently they said I'm reading an article in Time magazine that said this past summer, prosecutors were finally able to conclude that John and Patsy were not responsible for the daughter's murder. That's what they say. But DNA points to an unexplained third party. But what I want to know is this. Okay. So no signs of forced entry, which
so
means
that'd be somebody you guys knew.
Either somebody you knew or somebody who was staking out that house and knew exactly how to get in. If you tuck John Bonet in her bed, right? Somebody would have known how to get into that child's room. And somehow get into your basement.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, apparently she had a brother, right? So maybe it was the
John
brother?
had 2 adult children from a previous marriage.
So maybe it was them. Because they would have, like, somebody close enough to have access to them, you know? It also says, too, that while they were doing the investigation on the crime scene, they instructed the dad and a family friend to go around the house to see if anything was amiss, right? The very first place they looked was the basement, where they then found JonBenét's body.
Apparently, they arrested a man called John Mark Carr, who admitted to killing JonBenet, only to have the case dropped when DNA showed he couldn't have been at the crime scene.
See? But I think a lot of people also, like, especially like criminals and stuff, they get off on like some of that. It's like, oh, they want the notoriety from killing X, Y,
I
and
can
Z.
see. Apparently, there was 2 other people in the home when John was killed: her 9-year-old brother Burke, and her parents. And they cleared the parents and the 9-year-old boy.
Interesting.
I don't know. I could see this being somebody sneaking into the house. I mean, you know, a little girl. I just see like a little pedo sneaking in. I hate to say this, but like some, like, you know, backwoods pedo sneaking into the house, getting this little girl. I don't know if she was raped or if she was assaulted sexually somehow. But
I think also too, but wouldn't JonBenet know the home?
What do you mean?
Like, wouldn't she be familiar with the home to be like, oh, nope, like, maybe I'm not going down here, or like, so it probably had to be somebody she trusted too.
Exactly. I don't know.
So she died from asphyxiation due to strangulation. I
don't know why the parents didn't hear anything.
Wow, it says there was no conclusive evidence of her being raped, as they didn't find any semen on her body and her vaginal area was wiped clean, although a sexual assault had occurred.
So she was assaulted. That's what they concluded?
So she was assaulted, but they have no evidence of semen to be like, oh, this is definitely a rape. But they're saying like evidence does lead to some type of interaction with her vaginal area. They're just not probably sure on like specifically what, because there was no semen.
So you could be assaulted and still have no semen, I imagine.
Yeah, for sure.
Correct.
But like sexual assault can be with an object, like it could be a multitude of things. Rape is with,
or it could be digital penetration. You know what that is? Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but
digits, your fingers.
Oh, okay, I see. I'm thinking like digits, like numbers. Like, okay, that's interesting. No. But you're talking about your fingers. Okay, yeah. So yeah, it could have been that too. Mm-hmm.
In which case, that's not really. I think there's a million and one ways you could assault somebody sexually and not actually release semen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would imagine the person, if they did release semen, they thought enough to clear evidence of that.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, I'm not sure what the standard protocol is for like rape kits and stuff, but I guess when most people rape, they leave semen, maybe.
Yeah, because you have like pre-ejaculation and you have like actually like when you're like finished ejaculation. Mm-hmm. So you're like during the course of intercourse, there's a likelihood that you're going to leave something DNA-wise behind unless you use protection.
But I feel like whoever assaulted would have apparently took care of that.
Yeah. It also says too that they found a makeshift garret that was believed was made of using a length of cord and a part of a paintbrush from the basement.
What's a garret?
I don't know what that is. I'm trying to look it up, but I don't know what it is.
All right, I got a theory I'm throwing out there. It was a police officer.
But how would he have access to the house?
Look, backhand deals. First off, I imagine whoever went in and did this killing or whatever did so, they had been stalking out for a while. If they got that cleanly away with it, they had to know the ins and outs of that place.
Yeah, it has to be someone familiar with the home.
With the home.
So.
And it's obviously somebody who's a pedophile. Okay. Somebody who would have had access to their home when they were not there to be able to really scope that out.
Like enough to be comfortable to do it while they're there.
Exactly. And obviously we don't know who was in and out of their house, but I mean, they seem to be wealthy people, right? So like, that could have been anybody from the dad's work, anybody from the mom's job, anybody from like, the beauty pageants. That could have been somebody, a groundskeeper. It could have been anybody. You know what I mean? So
there also is, they also found pineapple in her stomach contents when they did her autopsy report, and her parents state they don't remember giving her any pineapple the night before. However, there was a bowl of pineapple in the kitchen, which had her 9-year-old brother Burke's fingerprints on it. So they're saying that like those fingerprints could have been put on there at any point because the investigation was kind of messy. So, and that Burke was in his room all night. There was no issues between them.
I find it difficult to believe a 9-year-old would have been able to do the kind of killing, the precise killing damage, to be honest.
I don't think so. Because if she was 6 and he was 9.
Well, I mean, not that he could not have killed. He could have been capable of killing. But I'm talking about the precise, no evidence left behind of me.
But that's the thing. It would have been perfect for him to do it because his fingerprints are all over the house anyway. You're going to find his fingerprints wherever you go. So that wouldn't raise any suspicion. And how do you think she got down there? If there was no noise, they heard nothing, it had to be somebody she knew and trusted. She's 6.
But I thought they said the mom heard noise. No, the mom said they didn't hear any noise.
They didn't hear anything. Yeah, they didn't hear anything.
How far? I want to know how far away the parents' room is from John Benet Ramsey's room. Because if it's like, they're relatively wealthy people, right? And they live in a really nice house.
Yeah.
I feel like, not saying that a 9-year-old couldn't have murdered, but this is what I imagine happening. Whoever this person was had to know the house incredibly well. They had to know John's routine and had to know the parents' routine. And they had to, they took active steps to silence the child, to assault the child, to put the child in the basement, and kill the child.
All while the child's being quiet.
And I'm not saying
even gave her a little snack.
Even apparently gave a snack or something. So that's why I'm saying whoever this person was knew to a freaking T what and how they were going to do it, and probably had been over it multiple times.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
It even says the ransom note was suspicious. So it's saying that the ransom note was written. It seemed staged, really, because it was unusually long. It was written using a pen and paper from the Ramsey's house, demanding the exact amount of money that John, the dad, had received as a bonus earlier during the year. So, somebody had to know, it had to be somebody close.
It had to be somebody who would have known, the intimate details of that family. Which makes me think it had to either be, if it was an adult, which to me that seems like a crime carried out by an adult. I'm not gonna even cap. I don't think, not that a 9-year-old couldn't have, but I think there would have been some mess up, slip up, something not accounted for as a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But this crime was accounted for, right? So whoever this person was, which is why I can see why the investigators would be the parents, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because who would have that kind of level of detail? But all I can think is maybe it's a work associate of the dad.
Mm-hmm. You think so? But you think she would be closer? Like she would be comfortable? She's 6 now. It has
but
to
think
be
about how many work associates and our parents' friends we were around, and we didn't know not to trust them. Our parents trusted them. We trusted them.
Yeah, but like I think that like if somebody was in the middle of the night and woke me up, I would be like, "What are you doing?"
Yes, but you know what? Also, you can silence people. If he put like, okay, let's say this person's dyscalculated, pretty calculated person. You can put chloroform over their mouth. They're gonna, even if their eyes open, they're not speaking. You could snuff somebody out.
Interesting.
Or if she kicked up a fuss, it might have been such a small little noise that they couldn't have heard it. If they're upstairs and she's downstairs, right?
Mm.
I'm not making a case for
I'm reading another article. I'm reading another article, and it says that just a little over 9 months later, another 12-year-old who attended the same dance school as JonBenet woke up in the middle of the night on September 17, 1997, with a man clad in all black standing beside her bed with his hand over her mouth. He sexually assaulted her as well. The mom came in with mace, where she punched the assailant. The assailant punched Amy's mom, and the mom. They both. I guess the mom escaped, or the daughter escaped. And the attacker was never found.
I'm getting perv on the loose in Boulder, Colorado. So I'm like, almost. I mean, I don't want to say Jeffrey Dahmer type, but sort of Jeffrey Dahmer type. Like somebody who flies under the radar or would appear normal to everybody else, but is like secretly a pedophile, and then sees these little kids, little girls, right? They're both little girls, little blonde girls.
Yeah.
And is like, having sexual fantasies about these children. A lot of people are pedophiles.
Yeah.
And it would have been somebody who scoped out enough to know specifically to prey on those individual girls. Right? Yeah. And I mean, peeping Toms and stuff is not out of practice either.
Very true. That's very true.
I get the feeling if it's not the parents, it was some local pervert that flew under the radar that nobody really recognized as a predator. And plotted that essentially to a T to like assault this little girl.
Yeah.
Because of whatever pedophilic tendencies they had. That's my thought. Now, it was the police job to find that person. But the person also seemed to have covered just about every track.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest. And escaped with little to no noise.
Very true. This is very interesting. And do they have any like new suspects or?
Well, every like year they come out with like this person saw this and that person did.
I just thought that's so long ago. Like, how could you recount? Like,
I don't know.
It says the intruder theory has lots of physical evidence to support it. There were boot prints found next to JonBenet's body, which did not belong to anyone in the family. There was also a broken window in the basement, which was believed to be most likely the point of entry for an intruder. There was also DNA from drops of blood from an unknown male found on her underwear.
I think it's the intruder thing. I'm not going to lie. And maybe I sort of talked myself into it, but I am getting intruder. I'm getting local predator. Nobody suspected was a predator. And somebody who would have seen or known JonBenet enough to know to scope her out. Maybe he saw her at school or something.
Yeah.
And, even from our personal experiences with some stalkers and stuff, they will find you. I don't think it's out of possibility that some man was just stalking her.
Could have been. And I mean, she was like, I kind of known. So I guess he could have had an idea what was going on with her before. You know what I mean? Just because she was like in pageants and different things. Like, So yeah. Apparently they put the DNA, the sample they found on her long johns and her underwear in CODIS, which is where they keep like all your like fingerprints and stuff like that. And they haven't found a match. So in order to like, you have to be put into CODIS, like when you're like arrested and stuff like that. And if like they're looking for profiles or whatever. So not everybody's in CODIS, but
so
it is still an open case.
Never actually was found.
It has never been found.
Like, the person the person might be dead. We don't know. But like, whoever the person was, they had to have been watching for a while. Yeah. I think.
Yeah. I mean, they had to be familiar with, I guess not be familiar with the home, because if the entry point was the basement, then you kind of have like an advantage, you know?
But you knew where the basement was. It wasn't like you just showed up and busted in one random window.
True.
And then they maneuvered to John Benet's room.
Yeah. So he had an idea.
Yeah, assaulted.
Yeah, maybe he had been scoping it out, like you said, for a while.
That's what I think.
So my theory is it's either an intruder, which I do think there is quite a bit of evidence leading to an intruder. But this intruder had to know a lot about this family, a lot about dad, mom, brother, and John Bonet. So there's that. Or I do think, obviously, the obvious choice would be, I think, if I had to say any of the family members, I would say the brother. I would say the brother probably had something to do with it. But the brother has, he's been cleared DNA-wise from the evidence. So it's, left upon the intruder as the primary suspect.
Mm-hmm. I get the feeling, and he specifically sought this little girl. So
yeah,
I'm getting, whoever it was a pedophile.
Yeah.
Period. Like, yeah, whoever it was definitely a pedophile and was seeking out this sort of like specific blonde, like all-American child look. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think. And but I think there's a possibility that for some reason I don't get that it was a brother. Okay. I just feel like, not saying that the brother was incapable of it, but I think the steps that one would have had to taken to cover the tracks, and then the brother went back and went to sleep in their house.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like it was like a bloody mess or anything. It was a strangulation.
But there were also blood drops.
But that was from like the from breaking in, which the brother really wouldn't need to break in. So
exactly, I'm not getting the brother, and I'm not getting. Okay. I'm also not getting that a 9-year-old, no matter how intelligent, okay, and they're smart 9-year-olds, would have likely, not saying they couldn't, plotted out that far in advance that level of, to be honest, that level of a crime. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
And if he really was, if he's a 9-year-old and seeking some sort of sexual gratification from his younger sister, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, because it does happen. Why would you need to break into a basement to do it?
True.
And I just don't think a 9-year-old's sexuality is developed enough to essentially prey on and kill somebody that way. I don't think. And I'm not saying 9-year-olds don't have sexuality, but like, It could have been. I just think that crime, that sexual crime, and then the murder behind it, strangulation, feels like an older person crime.
Yeah. So like maybe like, do you think maybe her stepbrothers or something like that? Just because like they would be familiar with the home.
I mean,
but why would they need to break in too then if that's the case?
That's what I say too. It's like, I'm not saying the family's ruled out, but like,
yeah,
if they could, if their idea was sexual gratification, that was their end goal, why would they have needed to A, kill the girl, and B, wouldn't they have found some other discrete time to do that?
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't.
I'm getting a random intruder, somebody from the town, somebody who did not have access to their life, who was not on the same status level as them potentially, but had access to their home somehow, some way. Maybe an associate of the dad's. Maybe it really was the gardener. Maybe it was the pool guy. Maybe it was just some guy, down the street who happened to see John Bonet at school, like I was saying, or in a pageant, or in whatever. Or maybe it was somebody who traveled from out of state. We don't know.
Well, yeah, they still haven't found them. That's unfortunate. So,
yeah, I think so much time has passed that it's like it'll be continuously harder, And there's so many other like random leads that come up here and there that like kind of lead to nothing, But yeah, I my money is on the intruder, a random intruder who had staked out that family for a while.
Their house is kind of big.
Yeah. Let me look up the home. It's in Boulder, Colorado. I
can see how like they may have not heard anything.
Yeah. I mean, they sound like wealthy people. If the dad was a software engineer or something, right? Or like owned a company or like something.
Yeah, something like that. They were pretty well off, I believe.
Exactly.
But the home is like a pretty decent size, so
it's like halfway.
Especially for this time, like for this time, this was in 1996. This was living nice.
Yeah. So. And I mean, you think about
it's 3 floors, so
exactly. And Boulder, Colorado, right?
Yeah, so you have a basement, the main floor, and then the top floor.
I doubt there's
apparently the kids lived on the second floor.
Yeah, I doubt there was like neighbors close by. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's a random pervert in the town. I'm going to be honest with you. Who's probably just gotten away with it. And it's not out of the question. And that seems like the obvious, I guess. But I think the signs also lead to the obvious.
Yeah.
Some random pervert or somebody like who had some sort of small connection with the family, but was obviously had ulterior motives, Yeah. That's what I think. Because, I mean, you really don't know who you're allowing in your space. And you don't know what they're like. No one's going to come up and be like, yes, I'm a pedophile and I've been stalking out your child. But it is unfortunate because she's so small.
It's okay. That's the John Bonet Ramsey case that is still unsolved. Let us know what you think about this one too. This one's very interesting. Like, I feel like it could go either way. Like, there's a lot of things that obviously just went wrong to begin with, which don't, I think, help make the case murky. But this one's interesting. This one is interesting. I hope they like find out what happened to her, or like find who her murderer is. For maybe like her family's sake. I don't know if her parents are still living or not, but like even her siblings' sake, because this is a case that is old as me, honestly. So
Mm-hmm.
I could imagine going that long without closure.
Yeah. Their house, I'm looking at all these pictures, like the decor just screams 95. Like,
Right.
it's like the floral print. Geez.
All right, so our next case is of a young lady named, I don't want to butcher her name. I think it's Zazel.
Mm-hmm.
Zazel. Preston, who died violently on Christmas Day. So her husband, William Wallace, basically beat her to death while their 3 children were nearby, I guess, in their home. And then to open the gifts for Christmas, he propped up her body, put sunglasses on her over her eyes to cover her face, and made the kids open up gifts with their dead mother there. So this one's going to be a short one, but we already know who killed her. But this one's just odd to me. Just odd.
I'm trying to figure out what he thought he was accomplishing by propping her dead body up.
I don't know. I don't know. And then making your kids open the presents. Apparently, he told the kids that the mom was drunk. So, but apparently, she was a college student. She was 26 and he was 39. So already an issue.
I told y'all, age gaps, y'all think I'm playing about these, the age gap, but statistically they say like the men, the most often when men are stalkers or whatever, is in a 35 to 40 age range.
Mm-hmm.
So like when they're pursuing younger women, significantly younger women, like she was 13 years younger than him, like a lot of times they have issues when they're in that age range trying to go after significantly younger women. I'm not just saying that just because like I'm like, oh, old, creepy. It's like statistically that group of men is like stalkers. But anyway,
I mean, I can't speak for sure, but what I can say in this kid's situation, it can seem that it was a little bit more. It seems to me a little bit more predatory, which they were in a domestic abuse situation. Excuse me. It was a domestic abuse situation. This wasn't the first time that he had put his hands on her. He had already been in jail. He had already served time for being physical with Preston in the first place. But apparently the couple went out to a Christmas Eve party where he then attacked her once, I guess they got back home. She tried to get away kind of thing. And then he continued to attack her, ultimately killing her. So he is serving jail time, obviously. Since Christmas Day, I want to say. I'm not sure how. Let's see how they found. Let's see how he said how they found her. Oh, the paramedics, once they arrived, found her body like slumped over the couch. I'm assuming did he call? She at the time had a 7-week-old son and 2 daughters from a previous relationship who were 3 and 8.
It's so weird. But not out of I hate to say this, but not out of like belief.
Yeah. So this is interesting. It says the couple had gone to a friend's party and a neighbor described hearing an argument later that night. Another neighbor said Wallace could be seen picking up what appeared to be a body by an apartment gate. And then Wallace, which is the killer, told one of Preston's relatives that they were drunk, and during the argument, I tossed her over a bit, the prosecutor said. So she may have already been dead, like before.
Were they married?
Yeah, I think, were they married? It says husband.
Wife, but...
Yeah, her wife.
Do you think he has mental health issues?
I think he has an issue with women. I think that's the problem. So,
but is that...
Which kind of like goes back to what
I think that is a mental health issue. I think... actively, which is why I consider misogyny to be sort of a mental health thing. It's like, I think really dehumanizing women to the point of like lack of empathy and like willingness to almost kill. I think that is a mental health issue. I think on some level it is. Because if you're not able to look at a whole and group of people and say, this is not a person.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the psychology behind that.
I think there's varying degrees of it. And like, obviously every misogynist does not go and kill women. But I think even on some basic level, even if you're just making even catcalling or just dehumanizing women in public, there's something sort of like, somebody is uncomfortable with this and you do it anyway. I think there's something behind it. I think there's something there.
But I wouldn't know. I don't know if I would be like, oh, that's a mental health issue. Like, do I think something mentally is going on? Sure. But I don't know if I can. I think that's like some type of like trauma or like maybe like how we read in the article yesterday about men being in a constant state of competition to like a detrimental
degree.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think if you look holistically at how men are socialized, right? Not to just turn this into a rag on men, but like more often than not, when people are committing murder, it's often men, right? So I think that the way they're socialized, especially to dehumanize women anyways, it has a level of like mental gymnastics they have to do in order to seek access to women, right? For like resources or for relationships, but also dehumanize them in the same breath. That's mental gymnastics they have to jump through, which can lead, if you already are prone to violence and anger and unchecked anger, right? Then it could lead you to something like killing somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not saying that it's directly like because you're a misogynist or because you hate women or whatever that you are directly you have a direct mental health issue, but there's a level of hypocrisy and like I was saying, mental gymnastics that in order to like, I guess, identify with like real true masculinity or like traditional masculinity, you hate and seek resources from women at the same time.
Yeah. So yeah, well, Wallace, the husband, is I don't know if they were married yet or not, but they had the intent of being married at some point. He's in jail. He will be there for a very long time, as he should be.
He's a dock worker.
Or what?
A dock worker.
Okay. Yeah. So
this goes to prove I think age gaps are always bad. I really do. Age gaps over 5 years are always sketchy to me.
So yeah, well, that's our CaCo Talks episode where we did, not CaCo Talks, it's our CaseCold episode where we did a Christmas special. And we shared some Christmas crimes that happened over the years. We hope you guys enjoyed, and let us know in the comments your thoughts on the John Bonet case, the Sauter case, and we already know the verdicts on the other two cases. So,
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, we got 12 days, so let's continue to cat down and treat ourselves.
Stay safe.
Yeah,
stay safe.
Yeah, that's the moral of this one. Stay safe, please. And that's from everybody. If something's off, trust your intuition, girl.
Trust your intuition.
Trust it. So, we hope that everybody has a Merry Christmas as we continue to approach, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yep. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.